with your energy forecast for Wednesday, November 8th. So today we will have the moon in Virgo energy all day, and we'll go through all of the different aspects involving the moon here today in this Virgo energy, but we will go void, of course, at 11:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time before locking into Libran energy very early Thursday morning. So it is going to be a full day of full stop, full direction, full movement forward with this Virgo energy. And then as many of us are kind of moving off into la la land, we will see the moon go void and we will wake up Thursday morning, again, many of us, with the moon in Libra energy. So Venus moves into Libran energy here today, and that is her rulership. And I am going to encourage you to go ahead, take a listen to A, this week's ascension forecast if you haven't already, B, the Venus in Libra astro forecast that I put out for your listening pleasure, C, download your November zodiac forecast so that you can understand where this is taking place in your life, and D, let's go ahead, let's download the Scorpio season e-guide to really help kind of align what these energies mean for you. So there's a lot going on here today. There's 14 different aspects, which indicates a very, very busy day in the cosmos. 9 of these aspects are going to involve the moon. So the moon in Virgo energy is going to make a tough interaction with Chiron, the wounded healer, who is retrograde in Aries energy. And this is going to be a little bit of a negative Nancy, a little bit of a Debbie Downer type of mood. Reason being, Chiron is the wounded healer, and when he's aspected in not a positive way, we tend to kind of bring out the wounds, illuminate the wounds. Now, the good thing is that the moon in Virgo needs to identify the problems in order to fix, heal, solve, resolve them. So it is part of the process. Now, Chiron being retrograde in this Aries energy is all about us really tackling the parts within ourselves, especially with what we tell ourselves, what we believe in, how we feel, how we take care of ourselves. As we're going through this rebranding process, we are kind of being encouraged to emerge as this new version of self that will be taking place around the new moon in Scorpio, but we still have to kind of analyze where the blockages are. And the moon in Virgo is very, very easily able to dissect the dialogue, the narrative, the perception, the understanding within us in order to understand what is blocking us from growing, from improving, from healing, from being a little bit better. The moon then sextiles with Mars. So Mars is the god of war. He rules over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire. He's in his rulership in Scorpio energy. And so the Scorpio energy, the Virgo energy works very well with each other. And what we're gaining here is a lot of momentum, a lot of passion, a lot of desire, a lot of anticipation, a lot of inspiration, a new focus to be hell-bent and determined to not stop until we're actually successful in bringing new aspects to life. And so emotionally speaking, again, we've been talking about cultivating this inner realm energy in order for us to be well equipped and well prepared when we're gifted with that green light go ahead to be able to execute the path and the plan and the strategy that we're currently building within us. So emotionally speaking, we're taking a logical and practical approach to what it is that we're feeling, what it is that we want to pursue, and we're coming up with a very detailed, calculated strategy on how it is that we're going to exert ourselves, aggress ourselves out in the world to actually align with our vision, with our goals, with our dreams. 4:31 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Venus will move into Libran energy. Again, please listen to the astro forecast for that. Just a couple of minutes later, we have the moon in Virgo energy making a positive interaction with the North Node in Aries energy. So that's our soul path, that's our destiny point, that's the path that we have to get on to reach our next mission, our next purpose, our soul's potential, if you will. Now, what I love about this is that just after Venus moves into her rulership, and again, in Libran energy, we're trying to achieve emotional balance here. We're trying to understand where negotiation and compromise is needed in our lives, especially within ourselves, in order for us to reach a place of love, of peace, of harmony, not only within ourselves, but within our physical realm as well. So we're not in this energy for very long, but it must be popping off an epiphany of sorts, because when the moon in Virgo interacts with the North Node in Aries, suddenly we have a little bit of a glimpse, a glimmer on what it is that we need to be working towards, what it is that we need to fix, heal, be better at, improve, grow through as we're going through it, and eventually move away from this current stagnant energy that we've been sitting in and move closer to this green light go ahead that we are very eagerly anticipating. The moon in Virgo trines, beautiful interaction, with Uranus, the great awakener, who is retrograde in Taurus energy. So we get the trine because Virgo energy and Taurus energy, they're both earth energies. One is ruled over by Mercury, the other ruled over by Venus. So this is an attempt to get our heart and our head on the same page, but Uranus, the great awakener, is bringing us a jolt of energy, an aha moment, an epiphany, a change of mind, a change of path, a change of direction, a change in perception and understanding, especially where our physical realm is concerned, our physical body, our routines, our money matters. So Uranus being retrograde in this Taurus energy is supposed to be highlighting for us where it is that we're holding on too tightly to what it is that we've already created and not having the open hands needed in order to go answer the door when opportunity is knocking. There is a fixed earth energy with Taurus, which means that we are more willing to stick to the familiar, even if it's a rut, even if it's uncomfortable, than we are to make a major change, because again, Taurus energy, highly resistant to change, even if it's change that we want. So Uranus kind of sends this lightning bolt down to our highest level of our intellect to say, oh my goodness, I didn't think of things this way. Oh my goodness, I didn't see a solution here where there's been problems. Oh my goodness, I didn't even think that that was possible. It has a major, major revelation type of vibe. And what this is doing is opening up our mind to trying something different, to adopting a different pattern, a different behavior, different routine, different ways of going about things. It's basically saying, okay, so you can't make all the changes that you want to make at once. Let's try one little thing. And let's start with our perspective. Let's start with our mental plane, because that has a domino effect on how it is that we are feeling. So overall, this is a gentle nudge in the right direction to make small little adjustments to the fixed circumstance that we're not ready to close the door on as of yet. It's all about perception. It's all about understanding. It's all about the mental plane. The sun in Scorpio energy going to make a positive interaction with Pluto in Capricorn energy. So Pluto rules over Scorpio energy, is its primary ruler. Mars is a co-ruler. So we have Mars in Scorpio energy in his rulership, and we have Pluto, the great transformer himself, in Capricorn energy, an earth sign that is helping us to kind of deconstruct the old in order to have a platform, a foundation to build the new. So anytime that we're interacting with a ruler of the energy in which another planet is in, so in this example, the sun is in Scorpio energy that Pluto rules over, there's a little bit more of an intensity going on here than normal. So the sun is shining a bright light in Scorpio energy where we're going through this major change, transformation, metamorphosis of our soul self. The sun is shining a bright light on that transformation that is currently taking place by doing a deep dive into the darkest parts of ourselves, doing the shadow work that Scorpio energy requires us to do in order to flip the script, to lighten the mood, to enlighten ourselves and push ourselves into a new form. The Pluto energy is very intense. It's deeply psychological, if you will. It illuminates the darkest parts of our pain, of our trauma, of our memories, of our emotions, of our experiences, in order for us to be able to empower ourselves by bossing up and taking control and flipping the script on where it is that we felt weak and vulnerable, where we felt like we were the victim. And we're using that to build ourselves up into a new place of authority. Essentially, we are building up into this new ability to be the creators of our lives. Instead of just sitting back and letting things happen to us, we're going to be able to actually do something about it and see the actual results of the physical manifestation that will be taking place throughout this next chapter due to the level of empowerment that we're able to have in our spirit, in our soul, in our mental plane. So the sun interacting with Pluto in this way, first of all, is very intense, very powerful, definitely an empowerment vibe, but it's also illuminating for us what absolutely needs to change in our physical realms in order to accommodate the alignment that is needed with this new version of ourselves in our soul and in our spirit. The sun is that life force energy. It's the new creative force energy that will need to be expressed in our physical bodies, in our physical realm. But because of the change and transformation and vibration and frequency that we are going to come out of this dark tunnel at, our physical realm may need some restructuring in order to actually house the new vibrations, the new frequencies, the new path, plan, goals, dreams, and visions that this new version of self is now percolating on. Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, fresh into her rulership in this Libran energy, gonna bump into Saturn, the lord of karma, in not the nicest way. Now keep in mind, Saturn just went direct. If you haven't listened to that astro forecast, go ahead, take a listen to it. We are still trying to build up to a forward movement. Takes a little bit of time for him to actually get up to speed to actually start moving forward. He is in 0 degree, 31 minutes of Pisces energy. So this is a restructuring of our identity, of our beliefs, of our dreams, of our passions, of our desires, of our ability to stop numbing, stop distracting ourselves from doing all the things that we need to be doing to boss up to new roles and responsibilities. This is a lot of weight. And speaking of which, this is going to be a lot of weight on our heart space, Venus. Okay, so Venus in Libra, she wants love, she wants peace, she wants harmony. But again, in Libran energy, we have to experience the extremes before we're going to find that comfortable position in between. Now, interacting with Saturn in this way, yep, a little bit of a Debbie Downer. So that scale is going to be all the way down into the darkness. We have to move into the darkness. We're in Scorpio season. Moving into the shadow realm, moving into the darkness is absolutely necessary and essential for our growth, for our transformation, for our metamorphosis. But the weight that will be on our heart space at this particular point in time may feel overwhelmingly unbearable at moments. Reason being, we are about to move into new karmic chapters, new timelines. Now, I want to take you back to about July when Venus moved into Leo energy, into the heart and soul of the zodiac, and then she retrograded there, and then she was resurrected by the sun August 13th. That is where we started kind of formulating this new path, this new plan on who and what makes us happy, who and what brings us a sense of joy, pleasure, safety, security, and stability. Since that point in time, we've been building up in the boldness and the bravery and the courage needed in order to do the hard thing, which just happens to be the right thing, which means that we got to let some things, some aspects, some people go. Now the weight of these particular choices, of these decisions, of these actions that will be needed, now it's weighing on our heart space. Now it's putting us in a funk. We know what we have to do. We know we have to be better. We know we have to be disciplined. We know we have to have the willpower. We know we have to kind of close the door on certain parts of self and particular constructs that part of self had built, especially where relationships are concerned. And it never feels fun to be the quote unquote bad guy as far as creating distance and creating boundaries in new relationship dynamics go. The moon is then going to interact with Jupiter in not the nicest way. So this is going to amplify, because Jupiter tends to magnify, whatever it is that we're thinking, whatever it is that we're feeling. So Jupiter is the planet of growth and expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings. He is retrograde in Taurus energy, giving us an opportunity to look inward, to see how much we've grown, see how much we've changed, see how much we've transformed, especially where our self-confidence, our self-worth is concerned. Because this is a retrograde planet and the inner reflection, the energy is internalized, we're not able to create opportunities outside of ourselves as of yet. We have to kind of sit with all that has changed, all that has transpired, especially where our belief system is concerned, especially where bossing ourselves up to new levels of self-love, self-worth is concerned. We have to do the inner building required. Now, the moon in Virgo, again, problem solver of the zodiac, wants to fix, wants to heal, wants to repair. We have to identify the problems before we can do any of those things. So Jupiter tends to turn the volume all the way up and magnify situations that aren't fun, that aren't favorable, that aren't promoting growth and happiness and abundance and opportunities. And so when we're able to kind of realize whether it's within ourselves, what we're telling ourselves, how we feel about ourselves, how we're treating ourselves, whether it's what's going on inside of us or areas of recognition outside of us that aren't permitting growth and expansion, either way, we're going to be illuminated to the problem in order for us to analyze it, to break it down into smaller pieces, to dissect it, in order for us to fix, heal, and repair it. The moon in Virgo then goes ahead and bumps into the North Node in Aries in not the nicest way. So this is really putting us in a mental state and in an emotional state to be only focusing in on problems, which can lead to additional problems because we make things a lot worse than they actually are. When you have tunnel vision goggles on and you're only focused on identifying the problems, all you're going to see is the problem. And so we become a little bit more magnified at this point where we're kind of spiraling. We don't see the growth. We don't see the improvement. We don't see the progression. We don't see the path forward. We don't see what we're supposed to do. We don't see how to break out of this particular situation and circumstance. And so then we start to feel a little bit trapped, a little bit claustrophobic. Let it happen, because this is going to illuminate for you the parts within yourself that are actually preventing the progress in moving forward. And a lot of this is just due to what we're thinking, how we're seeing ourselves, and where it is that we're allowing the egoic narrative of our negative ways of thinking to override our higher selves, downloading us with the inspiration, the motivation that we have to keep at a higher level in order to break free from this particular construct. The moon then goes ahead, sits directly across from and opposes Neptune. Neptune is retrograde in its place of power in Pisces energy. Neptune is the dreamer, the spiritualist, the imagination, let's call it the creative force energy that downloads us with an idea, an inspiration, a path, a direction that we then go ahead and try to actualize, try to bring into real life, and try to essentially manifest. So keep in mind that the Virgo energy and the Pisces energy, they sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel and they represent the axis of healing. The Virgo energy wants to heal the physical body, the physical realm, the mental plane. The Pisces energy wants to heal the soul, the spirit, the emotional realm. Everything that is outside of this physical realm that is not seen. And so what we get here is a opportunity to see where it is that we need to establish balance. What are we establishing a balance between, you may ask? Between real life and fantasy. Between actual, factual, truth, evidence, and intuitive knowing. Okay, so all the Pisces energy is, mystical in nature. It's supernatural in nature. It is our intuition. It is our higher self. It is our soul contract. It is, timelines. It's all the things that are kind of woo-woo that there isn't proof and actual evidence of, while the Virgo energy that the moon is in is only solely focused on the here and now, on the actual factual evidence that makes up our actual factual physical realms. And so, there's a group of us that are allowing our current circumstances to dictate what is possible for us, which would mean that we're too rooted in the Virgo energy, too rooted in reality, too rooted in the here and now. So if you're falling under that particular category, you need to open up your mind to your spiritual self. You need to open up your bond with your higher self. You need to tap into your imagination and really allow the la la land fantasy to, percolate a vision and a dream that motivates you to make the change in your physical realm. if you fall under the camp of living in your mental plane and living in la la land and kind of being deluded, if you will, and living in a fantasy land because reality sucks and it's so hard, then you're going to fall under the camp of needing to be more realistic, more grounded, more logical and practical in the approach of your vision, of your dreams, of your fantasies, of your imagination. We need to balance this particular aspect in order to emotionally be at a standpoint where we are blending the best of both worlds, our logic and practicality of, the emotional realm that our physical realm has kind of dictated for us, and the mystical, spiritual realm that our higher selves illuminate for us so that we don't feel trapped and confined in our physical bodies, in our physical realms. So there is a balancing act that is needed. Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, and how it is that we express ourselves in Scorpio energy, going to sextile Pluto, who is in Capricorn energy. So again, Pluto rules over the Scorpio energy that Mercury is in. Now, Mercury and Pluto are a force to be reckoned with when they team up in such a positive aspect such as this. Again, a sextile is a harmonization of energies, which means that these two are blending their energies together in order to reveal something new, a hidden layer, a certain amount of detail, of depth that wasn't previously seen before this particular point in time. So Mercury ruling over the lower level of our intellect, very kind of impacted and dictated by our physical realm, our logic, our practicality, our physical experience. Pluto does a deep dive in the psyche in order for a major change and transformation to be had. And in this realm, interacting with Mercury, this is about our thoughts, the information, the perception, the understanding, the opinion that we are currently formulating. Because Pluto changes and transforms us on a psychological level, and because Mercury in the Scorpio energy is kind of using intuition and emotion to formulate new thoughts and opinions, this is a major, intense aha moment, an epiphany that will act as the domino effect that will just continue to unfold and unpack different revelations the longer that we stick with this particular focus. Now, it's going to be tunnel visioned, right? We're almost like borderline obsessed and fixated on this particular train of thought, on this particular idea or narrative, whatever the case may be. And we're unpacking it in an empowering type of way. And so this is like a revelation that is going to change the game for us, that is going to set us up for new long-term vision, long-term goals. And this is going to put us in a more powerful situation to have power and control over our mental plane and the narrative that we're choosing to have, because of course, what we focus our time, energy, and attention on is what we manifest. So this is a powerful placement. Shortly thereafter, though, in true, egoic realm fashion, the sun in Scorpio energy is going to bump into Chiron, the wounded healer, who is retrograde in Aries energy, in not the nicest way. And this is going to kind of break us down from the growth, from the progress that we just made with Mercury and Pluto kind of, joining forces together. Now, reason being, we can only elevate as high as we have dug in our darkness, so to speak. And again, this is what Scorpio season is all about. So the sun shining a bright light in the Scorpio energy, where there is a major metamorphosis, a major transformation, a major change taking place within us and our soul self that wants to be expressed through our ego avatar eventually. We're bumping into Chiron right now, which means that we are kind of slipping back into the shadows. We're slipping back into the darkness. We're dissecting who it is that we've had to be, who it is that we essentially needed to be for this particular chapter of our lives, where it is that we've accumulated some pain, some trauma, some wounds that will be long lasting due to not being real and raw and authentic, and having to kind of unpack those particular parts of us and really do the work in order to build ourselves up in a real, raw, authentic kind of way. This particular energy, though, is going to bring us all the way down. Debbie Downer, negative Nancy, very focused on the darkness, on the pain, on the trauma, on why it is that we are so interconnected with our pain and trauma story, and where, if we continue to tell the pain and trauma story in the way that we have been, we are constantly going to be bombarded with a lack of growth, a lack of progress in being able to bring forth this new identity that we've been working on. The moon is then going to trine Pluto. And as you know, the Virgo energy and Pluto energy work very well together. And a trine is a natural growth, is a natural healing, is a natural progression, improvement, and moving forward. What we're getting here is the ability, especially after the Sun and Chiron kind of bring us all the way down. This is our ability to bring us all the way back up in a more powerful position, emotion, perspective, and role than we were prior to the Sun and Chiron popping off and bringing us down. The moon in Virgo, again, fixing, healing, resolving, repairing the inner wounds, if you will, in our mental plane, in our heart space that are preventing us from making the progress and bossing up in our lives. Pluto is here to make the major change, the major transformation in our emotional realm that is needed in order for us to break away with those old narratives, those old Debbie Downer, negative Nancy type of perspectives and narratives, in order for us to boss up to a new level of authority, to step into the creative energy of us being able to have the power to design our lives the way in which our higher selves wants us to manifest them in. This is a true test in our alchemy, in our ability to do a deep dive to the darkest parts of ourselves, to really align with a new perception, a new perspective, a new understanding, and to build ourselves back up in the best kinds of ways. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon in this Virgo energy, sextiling, beautiful interaction with Mercury, who of course is in Scorpio energy, and we love this. This is our heart and our head getting on the same page. This is a brand new narrative, a brand new script. We're empowered. We have a new determination, a new inspiration, a new motivation to do better, to think in a better way, to feel our emotions in a better way, to take action upon the things that we are in alignment about between our heart and our head, to make the major change, to make the major transformation that many of us are eagerly anticipating coming with the new moon in Scorpio. So this is the very last aspect for the day. It is a great aspect, if I do say so myself. And again, at 11:56, as this particular heart and head alignment pop off, the moon will be going void, of course, and we will see that transition into Libran energy early Thursday morning.